Hello there, my friends, and welcome. GrimDark Narrator here, aka GDN, and this is gonna be my fourth video I make here, following the suspension/removal of my channel. It has been a while since I made an update video here, but I'm gonna go over as to why in the next couple of minutes. As you could read in the title, it has now been more than a month since my channel was unfairly poofed out of existence, courtesy of YouTube and scammers. I wanted to make this video for the 30-day anniversary of this, but to be completely honest, I have been pushing it and pushing it back for about a week now. And it's not from wanting to keep you in the dark, those of you who still care, or me being lazy. Ironically, these videos don't even take that long to make. In any case, not much longer than one of my average lore videos. But that's neither here nor there. Truth is, it has become more and more difficult, at least psychologically, for me, to deal with this situation over the last couple of weeks. And you'd think it would get easier, because, it's been a number of weeks. The worst already happened, and try to move on and so on. But it's actually, in a way, the opposite. Because my anxiety this situation caused me didn't entirely go away. And at this point, I'm almost perpetually afraid of even opening my Gmail. Because it's either nothing good or it's nothing at all. Even writing the script, which it was actually a lot harder than the stuff for the videos I already made. And again, it's sadly funny, in a way, because there isn't actually that much to report. But before I get into the little news that does exist, and because I know not all of you actually watch these to the end, I would also like to let everyone know, again, especially those of you who are still looking for my disappeared content, you can find it at the moment on my Rumble channel. Not all of it, obviously, because there's like 2,000 videos, but I have been uploading it constantly. And maybe more importantly, the narrations on my Patreon page. Patreon page, which, and I've said this before, at this moment is my sole source of income. So if you're not already there, or want to access the stuff from the old channel, you can join me there. Both options are free, by the way, should you choose to check them out. And I have been doing my best to quote-unquote reboot my narrations on Patreon, my narration practice, that is. So if you've ever enjoyed anything I ever narrated, be it, Warhammer or Battletech or Conan the Barbarian or horror stories or some of the other things I've done, and would like to listen to any of that again, including remastered versions of my old stuff, which I'm working on now, or you want to maybe support me in this endeavor and dark time, and also you can get new stuff. I haven't begun yet, but there is new stuff that I haven't put on the channel, and it's also my newest stuff. So if you want to check my newest narrations, you're going to get them there. And the links for all these, well, 2 links that are important, you can find them in the video description of this video and also the descriptions of my other update videos here. Now, with that out of the way, let's see what's changed in my situation since the end of January, shall we? Just to ultra summarize, not much. Channel is still gone, and YouTube support is still useless. In fact, it's become a chore even to get them to reply to me at all now. Now, I think it's worth mentioning here that a lot of this bad stuff has been happening across YouTube since the beginning of the year. I actually tried to find out more about people who might have been hurt by mark scan enforcement, and I've checked it out on Twitter for a bit. And unsurprisingly, there's actually so many people who've been affected by those scammers and have been in similar situations to mine. I did share a few right here if you want to check them out. But if you want to check them out even further, you can just go to X/Twitter and search for mark scan enforcement. And it's horrifying, let me tell you. And it's not even all from this year, actually. I've read comments from as far back as 2021. And YouTube doesn't do anything. Many of these people have lost their channels too. As sad as that sounds. And I've also been reading for some of the replies on these posts. And at best, YouTube does like some citing terms of policy, which most of the time barely have anything to do with that particular situation. And then they do nothing. If this were an actual institution, I would imagine they would be open to being sued into oblivion for, if nothing else, copyright abuse and lack of a proper system to manage copyright abuse. But it's like only half the equation exists for these people. You're free to destroy a channel, livelihood, and maybe even life of somebody, the channel owner or owners. But if you're on the other side and want something as utterly basic as a manual review of a counter notification, screw you. It's all automated. Anyway, I even asked them where should my legal representative send an official email or letter or whatever. No response. I even sent them a fax of the counter notification. Not even once, but 3 damn times. Because YouTube guidelines say that you can send them a fax with your counter notification in these situations. Heck, you can even send them a physical letter. No response whatsoever. I wrote to them on Twitter asking when is my fax gonna be checked, right? They told me that since I already had an open ticket, I should wait to hear from them. This open ticket being, by the way, the one that nobody responded to for like the last 2 weeks. I wrote to support again, asking just about my fax. I got no reply. Although I did send this on Saturday, so maybe it takes like a couple of quote-unquote working days. But I wouldn't be surprised if nothing happened, because nothing happened anyway so far. I wouldn't trust YouTube support if they told me water was wet at this point. I even emailed Games Workshop, another approach. I sent them 2 emails about Markscan basically using their name to do this nonsense. And you know what happened? Nothing. They care about as much as YouTube support does, if that. I did get one reply saying that they'll investigate if the claim was true and yada yada. But we all know they're not gonna take it seriously. In all fairness, Amber King did try to contact them too, and I asked him about it, and again, nothing happened. It was the same kind of reply. You're not gonna be able to reach somebody important there unless you yourself are a big shot. Or you have big shot lawyers. So, funnily enough, even though I saved that as kind of a blast option, it was a non-option all along. And, you know, at least in my case, that's all it amounts to in a way. It's one lousy step that's just impossible to overcome. In case you don't know, I did go over this previously, but I'll do a quick review for those who don't know. In case you don't know and you get copyright strikes on YouTube, there's only 2 and only 2 ways you can deal with it. You can contact the claimant and try to solve it with them amicably, or you can submit something called a counter notification. Now, the first option is actually a non-option in this case, And I have shown you this before, but there's actually an extra element that I wanted to bring to your attention. Uh, it's of course because they physically cannot be contacted. I've even decided to write them from my Gmail this time, the Gmail of the channel, and if there's any further proof needed, this provided it. I've written to them from my Gmail to the address that I thought was functional back when I wrote to them from my Yahoo mail, but it seems not even this is actually functional. Gmail literally cannot deliver the email I sent them. So at the end of the day, neither of their official email addresses even work. Not even the one that YouTube itself provides for you to contact them, or at least try. You'd think that by itself is cause for YouTube to investigate, but of course, that's never going to happen. On a sane planet, if that wouldn't be damning evidence against them, I don't know what would. But it doesn't matter if you have all the evidence in the universe because there's nobody to present it to. YouTube doesn't care. Their employees don't care, if you could call them employees. Furthermore, not that it changes anything, but I also got my 8th counter notification resolved. You know, that one that single one that got accepted after my channel was suspended and I sent it via email. And that too was solved in my favor. Surprise, because the claimants didn't show up in any way, shape, or form. Again, why can't a human review this and see what logic and common sense would prove? All the videos were about the exact same issue. If two groups of counters were accepted and solved in my favor, why weren't they all accepted and forwarded? Any human with a brain would come to this conclusion after being given the elements of this story. Any freaking human. But no. It seems I'm more likely to get YouTube support to collectively sacrifice their firstborns to Slanesh than I am to get one human to review my counter notification with all the links. Which, by the way, was put together by somebody with legal expertise. Heck, even if I fully wanted to sue them, like get a whole law firm and whatnot, it's like you still gotta get through 10 hoops before you can even learn how to start the procedure. Anyway, that's more or less what I wanted to say today. I don't want to be a downer, but it doesn't seem that I'm gonna be able to get back. At least not in the way that it used to be on YouTube. I don't even have words to describe how badly this affected me, and not just financially, although that's obviously the most direct impact. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone to go through the amount of anxiety and literal sickness that I've been through since this happened. I feel hopeless, I feel utterly exhausted, demoralized, and frankly lost in a way. And a lot of people are gonna say, dude, you're still alive. It was just a channel. Get over it. Rebuild, rebrand, whatever. And I'm genuinely at least trying to do that on Patreon now. But also, I liked creating content for my channel. I genuinely love narrating stuff. And I may be far from being the best at it, but I did have hundreds, if not thousands of people tell me that they enjoyed it over the years. That my narrations, as good or as bad as they may be, did help them out of some dark places, or tedium, or boredom, or recovering from health issues, or worse. And I've always felt humbled when people told me that. And in turn, it actually helped me fight through my depression and hopelessness and loneliness throughout the years. And now all that is gone, because YouTube doesn't have any humans with any humanity working for them. They just don't. But I guess it is what it is. You know where you can find me now. I haven't entirely disappeared from the internet. Again, the links for those things are in the description. I'm still kicking there, at least for now. Now, before I go, I didn't want to end this on an entirely downer fashion, so regarding content on this channel, this smaller one, after some research, I learned that, and I might have mentioned this before, that posting content from the main channel here, or rather reposting it, might actually trigger the duplicate content nonsense on YouTube's part. And even if I did that and they were allowed, monetization would be a very, very dangerous proposition for the existence of this channel. Which is why I've decided to maybe try something a bit different and hopefully entirely safe. It's kind of just an idea or a prototype at the moment. I apologize. So it's gonna be like a month or more before anything comes of it. But as always, like I said on most of my old lore videos, I do welcome your input to it, or your thoughts, or anything you'd like to say. So yeah, that's it for now. Until next update, the Emperor protects. Have a safe and healthy day.